What's going on, guys? ChillisFM here, taking a look at my first Scroll Cup team on this channel. This team worked really well for me, climbed over 100 elo in 4 sets. 3 of those 4 sets were 4-1s. The other one was a 2-3, and it was with a lot of tough leads, and we'll talk about what some of the tough leads are and how to play the best you can against them as well. Let's go ahead and get into some of these battles. Leave a like to help this channel grow. I really do appreciate it. All right, let's go. All right, in the first one, up against a bit of a unique lead, a Tentacruel. The nice thing about Tentacruel is Scald is going to be resisted into Hakamo-o. I really like Hakamo-o, by the way. If you've been around the channel for a while, you know that I like Hakamo-o, but it's not good in every meta. This is a meta that it really can shine in. They did build up to 10 poison jabs, which means they could have Sludge Wave. I do respect the damage. And we're going to get a nice juicy farm down. Now, this team works a little bit uniquely. You don't want to pivot out very often. Yes, they stayed in a somewhat bad lead, so they're probably somewhat weak to Hakamo in the back. But I'm not going to pivot because, well, Quagsire can be hard punished by Chestnut. Toxapex can be hard punished by ground types. And if you pivot, then you're just opening the door for some of these hard counters to come through. Toxapex and Quagsire make a pretty decent core, so if Toxapex is good into one thing, it's likely that Quag's going to be good into the last thing, or vice versa. Here they had a Guzzlord. They shield up the first Brick Breaker. They come in with Chestnut. I'm able to farm it down completely with Toxapex because I threw a second Brick Break. And at this point, this Guzzlord is going to be forced to go for Crunch. Otherwise, we're going to survive. And that's just going to be a Dragon Claw. So we're going to get this Sludge Wave off. This is easily going to put them into Aqua Tail range for my Quagsire. By the way, I am running Aqua Tail. I think Mud Bomb is probably better in this meta, to be honest. I went Aqua Tail because that's what PvPoke recommends. And I didn't really have a lot of experience with this cup prior to this. I mean, I tried 2 different teams for like 3 sets prior to this and kind of got destroyed, to be honest. Like, I was in 2500s when I started and I fell all the way down to 2363, and then luckily this team helped me climb back up. But there's so many dragons in this meta. I mean, a lot of Guzzlord ended up on my Quagsire that having Mud Bomb would definitely be beneficial. I didn't really find many scenarios where I really wanted Aqua Tail. Like, it's a little bit faster. That's a small benefit. And like here in the Mandibuzz, it can hit for neutral. But at the end of the day, you need 2 Stone Edges to KO. Anyways, Brionne lead. Very bad for Hakamo-o because you're taking double super effective damage from Charms. I'm going to fight my hardest to get Switch here. They are on Foul Play, not Dark Pulse, which actually makes it a little bit more difficult. And this is actually a bad bait. I thought that I was at the Stone Edge, and I was 1 mud shot away. So they go ahead and no shield. I'm going to throw on what would have been CMP if they threw their energy. And to my surprise, they actually just let the Mandibuzz go. So they're happy to take the shield advantage because they have a Shadow Annihilate. Shadow Annihilate up a shield can destroy just about anything, but Hakamo-o has some nice bulk, so when they throw the super effective Ice Punch, we just tank it. We expect the pivot. There's the Brionne, and this is where I love Toxapex in this meta. A lot of people running Charmers, right? A lot of people running Brionne, Gallade. I mean, that's the main 2, right? So a lot of people are running double Charm. Some people are just the single. And Toxapex just hard walls these Pokemon. So we're going to be able to fire off the Brine here because I don't want to KO. I want to get this nice juicy farm down, leave with some energy ready to go. All I have to do is make it to 2 Brines. Or even if I just grab the shield here, they're going to be forced to throw energy, and I'm almost at a Dragon Claw as well. So yeah, I mean, they eat it because they realize that Brine's going to be doing a lot less than Dragon Claw, but I just get the Poison Jab down, and that's GG's. Mandibuzz, they're all running Air Slash, so this is definitely a bad lead. We are going to be pivoting out into Quagsire. This is the reason we're running Quagsire over something like a Gastrodon, because we have Stone Edge, which can hit for super effective, and 2-shot a Mandibuzz. I do throw a bad timing. I was trying to CMP them. They got to their move as I was getting to the Stone Edge. They don't fall for it, and then they do hit me with the Dark Pulse, which explains why they didn't throw initially, because of Dark Pulse takes 6 Air Slashes, whereas Aerial Ace and Foul Play only take 5. They come out with Gastrodon. I'm not quite able to get that second Aqua Tail off, so we are not able to force a shield. They would have barely survived regardless, so probably doesn't matter too much. But now we're going to take this Earth Power, and they're even going to make another move if I don't throw energy. So I am going to go ahead and throw this Dragon Claw. Knowing my Hakamo-o is not really going to be good against that Mandibuzz. Like, it's not going to do a lot. I do stay in just for a second to make sure they are coming in with Mandibuzz, and it's actually something much worse. It's going to be a Brionne. But it doesn't matter because this Mandibuzz is low enough. It's not going to make it through my Toxapex. And Toxapex, again, will wall the Charmer. So, GG's. Alright. Yeah, this is a battle from the 2-3 set. Azumarill lead. So, Azumarill leads, Air Slash Mandibuzz leads, and Toxapex leads are probably the toughest. And I'm going to showcase all three. So, Azumarill lead, we do swap out immediately here. Gonna go for the Stone Edge. I was really planning on fighting for Switch, but they stayed in so long with the Azumarill. They threw it 5 bubbles, so I knew that was only an Ice Beam. I didn't really want to shield that up. And now they're going to be coming out with their Gastrodon. Do not have a clue what this trainer does against a Chestnut, but I guess they're not that common, so maybe it's just a calculated risk. Unfortunately, they do tank both Aqua Tails. I don't know, does Mud Bomb do slightly more damage? I know it's less energy efficient. If it does slightly more damage, then maybe Mud Bomb would have forced a shield there, which would have been nice. That's fine. We're going to go ahead and let that go down. Again, I stay in just to make sure that they're coming in with the Azumarill. In the back, going to be a more Peko. So this is looking like a hard counter loss, right? But I decided to go ahead and no shield here. Because I'm thinking maybe if Hakamo-o has 2 shields and a lot of energy, maybe it can brick break its way through Azumarill. Now they threw just at the Psychic Fangs here. They didn't even build up to the Aura Will, so I know it's a Psychic Fangs. They might be on like Psychic Fangs Seed Bomb. I don't know. Like I feel like that moveset's weird, but I have heard some people are running it. I don't know. Regardless, we make it to a second Brine here, which is going to force their second shield. And now I can come in with my Hakamo-o, and they have a Psychic Fangs ready to go on their little mouse. What's it called? I want to say Dedenne. It's not Dedenne. Dedenne hasn't been meta in a while. I don't know why I'm drawing a blank, but it'll come to me in a second. Anyways, what I need is this second Brick Break to KO the Azumarill, because if I have to give up a shield to an Ice Beam, they have a Psychic Fangs, and we're just going down. Second Brick Break, just not a good enough move. So now my only hope is that my counts are wrong, and they go down to a Dragon Tail here on the Morpeko. That's what it's called. But yeah, I mean, they have the Psychic Fangs, and that's going to be plenty to KO my Hakamo-o. That's going to be GG's. Well played. So we made it close despite it being like one of the worst possible leads we could see. Really a hard counter team. I can't complain, right? All right, Toxapex lead. Now, there's 2 different ways you can play this out. The way you do not play this out is actually to swap in Quagsire. Because there's always a Quagsire answer, and then there's always a Air Slash Mandibuzz in the back. So what ends up happening every single time is you see their third on Quagsire, and then the Mandibuzz just gets aligned on your Hakamo, and you just can never get through it. So if you are going to swap, and sometimes I do like to swap and try to catch, bring in your Toxapex. So here you can see there's the Sableye. I'm expecting it to be Mandibuzz in the back. So we're going to go ahead and pivot in here. Try to get some use out of my Hakamo. And throw this Dragon Claw. Now the second way you can play this is you can 2-shield with Hakamo. Hakamo easily wins the 2-shield scenario. Just going straight Dragon Tail, Dragon Claw. And yeah, there's the Air Slash Mandy. So you'll get switched that way, but Toxapex doesn't really have to give up both shields, so you could end up down 2 shields if they don't want to invest a shield there, which is not the greatest feeling. I've played it both ways. Both ways have got me wins, but I think I prefer swapping out into Toxapex. There's not normally a ground type behind Toxapex. Alright, so we throw the Brick Break there to drop the Mandibuzz's defense because I wanted to ensure that the Stone Edge was going to KO. Out comes the Toxapex now. I know I will barely survive this Brine. I'm going to be able to get the Aqua Tail off. I don't think I would have made the Mud Bomb because Mud Bomb would have been one more Mud Shot. Actually, I would have. I'd survived that Poison Jab. I would have. So Mud Bomb would have just straight up KO'd this and been better. If you're considering or trying to decide which moveset, all they have really left now is going to be this Sableye. We can shield up the foul play, farm down. We're one Dragon Tail away from the Dragon Claw, but actually the Dragon Tail is going to KO. So that's GG's, well played. All right, into the next one. Up against a Dream Lead. I mean, when Hakamo is good, it's great, right? And when it's bad, it's horrible, like against Azumarill and Charmers. Fairy types, I guess, just in general. So they swap out into Sableye. This is one of the more common save swaps, and you can pretty consistently pull a shield or get them very low and make it easy for Quagsire to take care of the rest of the HP. You're always going to outpace to that Dragon Claw before they make the Dazzling Gleam, so you could just stay in and throw it immediately, and that will be on good timing since they should have a one-turn swap. Now, I do end up giving up a shield here to keep switch advantage. That's perfectly fine. I can farm down, leave with energy on my Quag. Their Quagsire, their Drapion is not going to want to take a move from Quagsire, so they bring in Mandibuzz instead. I do go straight for the Stone Edge. I could have got 2 Aqua Tails off to get some chip damage, but honestly, I'm in such a good position here because, like I said, Hakamo just walls this thing's moveset, unless they have Sledge Bomb. And I don't think they built up to it this time, so I decided to go ahead and no shield. We can go ahead and get this Dragon Claw off. Crunch, of course, resisted damage. Now, it does put us into a range where a second Crunch or possibly an Aqua Tail, Aqua Tail after the poison jabs, or poison stings rather, will KO, but it doesn't matter. I mean, they're just so low at this point that they're not going to make a Crunch against my Toxapex, and I can leave with basically a Sledge Wave ready to go. Mandibuzz, like, it's good in this cup, but it's not good into Toxapex. Toxapex just has the better moveset overall. We're going to shoot up the first one, expecting it to be the Dark Pulse, but they actually bait with the Aerial Ace. Doesn't really matter. I mean, you're going to see how little... Are they even on Dark Pulse? Yeah. Dark Pulse, I mean, come on. They need like 4 of those. Or 3 plus an Aerial Ace. I don't know. So that's an easy win, and that's a GG's. Alright, Guzzlord lead. Again, if we don't have to swap out, we don't want to swap out. They swap out into Brionne. I was a little bit slow on my swap. I do take a charm that I didn't have to take, but it doesn't matter because we're just going to completely wall this thing. And anytime you see a charmer as the save swap, just assume it's double charm, right? We just assume. We're going to build up to 100 energy, go for the brine. Do I undercharge? Yeah, I actually undercharge here just to get a couple more poison jabs, not expecting them to make another aqua jab. And now we leave with a Sludge Wave ready to go. In comes the Guzzlord. We're going to fire off this Sludge Wave. It actually connects. We're going to come in with our Hakamo to lure out the second Charmer. And now I'm just being toxic because, you know, Dragon Claw would hit for neutral, but I know they're shielding. And I know that they can't win. So we're going to go ahead and break the Psychic type. They know it's over. And that's GG's. Well played. Don't even have to show the Quagsire. Another great lead. I mean, Chestnut has superpower which hits for neutral, but everything else is going to be resisted. A lot of them are running Thunder Punch, Frenzy Plant anyways, so we don't even have to worry about it then. Though I don't think that's the right moveset to run on the lead, because then if you're up against a Guzzlord, you can't really fight back, right? And they have a Sableye save swap here, so they have to have a Guzzlord answer. I'm expecting them to be on superpower. Alright, Shadow Sableye, able to pull the shield. And now this one threw the foul play immediately, which I don't hate. Like, I'm never going to shield that, but it does put me into Frenzy Plant range for later on. Superpower range for later on. Definitely not Thunder Punch range for later on, but it does put me low enough that maybe the Chestnut can put in some work. They do, of course, get the farm down here on our Quagsire. But I'm actually going to bring in my Toxapex now, because I know Toxapex can definitely no-shield the first move here. And it's going to be Frenzy Plant, so it seems like I'm right that they are not on Thunder Punch. In the back, going to be their own Toxapex. Now, I'm so proud of this. I'm so proud of this. I did that perfectly, so I barely outpaced them to the move, and I am able to throw it on good timing. I was thinking it in my head. I was like, I think this is it. Look, I'm gonna mess that up 9 times out of 10. But it felt great in the moment. We get denied there, but it doesn't matter. I mean, our Hakamo-o's just done so much damage now into this Toxapex. I actually no-shield the first, and they go for the brine, which I don't really understand, but sure. We're gonna go for the Sludge Wave. We do finally pick up the shield there. They're getting close to being in brine range. I do have to start shielding now. Of course, they're going to be going straight brine. That's fine. If this is brine, I could no shield, but honestly, I'd lost track of their counts. So I do throw up the shield, and it just doesn't matter. I mean, I can always overfarm, have energy ready to go for this chestnut. Going to be firing off the Sludge Wave here, taking out the chestnut, and they're just not going to make another move before I poison jab down. So my opponent concedes. That's a GG's. Well played to my opponent. So yeah, I definitely recommend this team. I think Hakamo-o is really good in this meta. I tried to find a team with it in the back. I couldn't quite figure it out, so I did put it in the lead. I think if you can find a team with it in the back, it would be even better, because you could potentially lure all the fairies away from it, and it can just basically fight back against everything else, as long as you get the fairies and the air slash mandibuses out of the way, right? So maybe play around and build your own team if you want, but it worked really well for me in the lead. Obviously climbed to over 100 elo with 3 of those being 4-1s. I cannot complain. All right, I'm going to wrap it up here. Appreciate you all so much for watching. If you enjoyed today's video, make sure you leave a like and a comment down below. Let me know how Scroll Cup is treating you. Thank you again so much for watching. I guess I don't know, I'm just talking now. Thank you to my channel members for your support. Until next time, this is ChillisFM reminding you to always keep pushing forward.